Good morning to you all. Good morning. Most importantly, under the legal framework, we have discussed financial regulations. Under the financial regulations, there are so many sections, but our focus is on financial management and accountability. The financial management and accountability is talked in financial regulation number 124, 25, 26, 27, 28, and 31. And also we discussed 124. It's about delegate. It's about financial management and accountability. Then it says 124 says uh, the Minister of Finance is the uh, is in charge for the whole financial transaction of uh, government organizations, and Ministry of Finance can appoint secretary of each ministry as chief accounting officer, right? Secretary of each ministry can be uh, should be worked as chief accounting officer, and he is responsible for supervising departmental financial transactions subject to deductions of the treasury. Treasury mean uh, the Ministry of Finance. And in addition to that, 125 it says accounting officers. Accounting officer means the head of each department. You know that every ministry there are so many departments. So each department has department head. Each department head. So this department head should work as accounting officer. Should work as accounting officer. Each head of the department should work as accounting officer. And revenue accounting officer, when any organizations which earn profit in generate income from any other sources, that should be properly estimated. For that purpose, an officer can be appointed to estimate revenue. That person is called as revenue accounting officer. The function of accounting officer and revenue accounting officer shall be indicated in financial regulation number 128. Now we'll see 126, the treasury supervision and control. Also, we have discussed in the last class. So the chief function of the treasury is to maintain, control, and supervision of the government finance. So for to achieve this, to effectively run their functions, right? Maintain the functions. It can be used. It can use two ways. So one is issuing regulations, directives, and instructions. It is common for all government organizations. And the second way is instructing or advising chief accounting officer and accounting officer. So the secretary to the Ministry of Finance, it's mean treasury, will instruct chief accounting officer. It's mean secretary to the each department, the secretary to the particular ministry, and the accounting officer, head of the particular department of any measures necessary in particular circumstances. The second, the B is a special case, not common general one. The A is a common for all. So for example, all government employees will get 2,500 salary increment. It has been announced in the parliament by the Minister of Finance. Then this salary increment is applicable for all organization, government organization. So it is coming under the A, regulation, direction, and instruction that are generally applicable. So the second one is for the particular department or organization. So for example, uh, salary increment for Samutthi officers, 5,000 salary increment for all Samutthi officers. Then this instruction only applicable to the Samutthi, right? Not all other organizations. So these are the two ways to effectively function of the treasury. That is to and control, maintain control and supervision over the government finance. To achieve this function, to run the function effectively, the controlling and supervisory function of the treasury include the following: the appointment. First, the way is appointment of chief accounting officer and accounting officer. And after the appointment, the treasury will give them instructions, financial directions to the chief accounting officer and accounting officer. And to fill any vacancies or to create any employment opportunities in government organization, every organization or every government organization should get approval from the Ministry of Finance. So how many cadres, scale of salaries, rate, so even salary increment, or so whatever the things regarding the employment and their salary, financial matters, all the things they have to get the approval from their Ministry of Finance. And also the secretary to the ministry or the treasury should confirm all the collections, revenues are properly collected and deposited to their treasury account, consolidated fund. And also the treasury will ensure that in all government organizations the financial regulations are followed and their circulars are followed without any deviations. And finally, it's exercise supervision over the consolidated fund. So in this ways, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 ways, the treasury will control and supervise the functions. Now we'll see the financial regulation number 127. I think from this point, at this point we have closed the earlier session. Now we'll continue from this slide. General responsibilities of chief accounting officer. Remember, chief accounting officer means all the times secretary to the ministry. Secretary to the ministry should work as a chief accounting officer. This appointment is given by the treasury, Minister of Finance, secretary to the Ministry of Finance. A chief accounting officer is responsible to Ministry of Finance because Ministry of Finance is appoint him as accounting officer, chief accounting officer. So chief accounting officer is responsible to Ministry of Finance for the adequacy of the financial administration of all departments within the ministry. All the departments within the ministry. His duties are mainly supervision. Mainly supervision. So you may know that most of the secretary to the finance, they are not expert in finance. They are not expert in accounting. Right? Therefore, they can't check each and every transaction. And also they don't have enough time to do so. So therefore they delegate their power to their head of the departments as accounting officer, and again head of the department will delegate his authority, his function to the accounting officer. Accounting officer means say accountant, fund managers, government accountant. So right, the chief accounting officer, the secretary to the ministry, he should ensure that in the department, under his ministry, adequately follow all financial regulations and instructions issued by the treasury. His duty is mainly supervision, right? It also a duty of chief accounting officer to appear before the committee on public accounts. In Sri Lanka, there's a committee called Committee on Public Accounts, and to assist it along with accounting officer, secretary to the head of the department, in explaining and justifying the accounts of the departments to which he is responsible. Right. In summary of the slide, a chief accounting officer is responsible to the Ministry of Finance. He is supervising all their financial administration of his departments, and also his duties are the chief accounting officer should appear in front of the Committee on Public Accounts along with accounting officers, and he should explain and justify the accounts of the department for which he is responsible. Finally, he will submit the accounts to the Committee on Public Accounts. If there are any queries, chief accounting officer and accounting officer should explain that. 128 financial regulation. It's one of this FR part 128. General responsibility of accounting officer. 127 explains the responsibility of chief accounting officer, while 128 explains responsibilities of accounting officers. Right? Accounting officer means head of the each department. An accounting officer is responsible for chief accounting officer. Right? Chief accounting officer is responsible to the Ministry of Finance. An accounting officer is responsible to chief accounting officer for the financial administration of his department and the management of his votes. So duties and responsibilities of revenue accounting officer. So this is another position, revenue accounting officer. A revenue accounting officer is responsible to the chief accounting officer to take adequate steps to collect revenues. There are some organizations, government organizations, which collect revenues. So, for example, Department of Inland Revenue. The department will collect revenues, and the customs also collect revenue, and Department of Motor Vehicle, so it's collect revenue, and Department of Exercise also collect revenue. And financial regulation 131. So in between here, current 28, after that 129 and 130. There is no financial regulations in it, right? There is no financial regulation number 129 and 30. And we'll see financial regulation number 131. The executive functions of the treasury as a department. So treasury itself as a department under the Ministry of Finance. Now we'll see the executive functions of the treasury as a department. In addition to its duties under the financial regulation 126, what 126 says? This is the 126. Maintain, control, and supervision of the government finance. That is financial regulation 126. In addition to its duties under financial regulation 126, the treasury carries out the normal executive functions of Department of Ministry of Finance. Right? So, Ministry of Finance is also an organization. For that, the treasury carries out the normal executive function of the department of the Ministry of Finance. Itself is a department. the secretary to the treasury. There is a secretary to the Ministry of Finance. Under the Ministry of Finance, treasury is one of the department, right? And for the treasury, there is secretary. Secretary to the treasury, in his capacity as secretary to the Ministry of Finance, is also chief accounting officer, right? Secretary to the treasury is normally treasury is considered as a office of the Minister of Finance, right? The treasury is considered as a office of the secretary of Minister of Finance. The secretary to the treasury in his capacity as secretary to the Minister of Finance. Therefore, he is also chief accounting officer, right? Secretary to the treasury should work as the chief accounting officer of Ministry of Finance. The deputy secretary to the treasury is the accounting officer of the wards directly administered by the treasury. Right? When you take the Ministry of Finance, secretary to the treasury should work as the chief accounting officer, and deputy secretary of the treasury should work as a accounting officer. Now we'll move to the most important area under the framework, that is delegation of functions for financial control. As I told you earlier, the secretary of each ministers are not familiar with financial accounts or financial transaction of organizations, right? So Ministry of Education secretary to the Ministry of Education, he can't record the transaction held in a school, at a village, in a village, right? There are a lot of schools island wide, right? All the accounts transaction are recorded by the secretary to the Ministry of Education. Therefore, he has delegated his power to other officers, delegation of functions for the financial control. So this is explained by financial regulation number 135. The delegation of function for financial control 135. An accounting officer, it's mean head of the department. Accounting officer, we know that uh, the management of public fund is handed over to the parliament. The parliament is handed over to the Ministry of Finance, and treasury will take over from the Ministry of Finance, and treasury will appoint chief accounting officer, who each secretary of the line ministry, every ministry, and again the secretaries will appoint head of the department. Again, the head of the department will become as a accounting officer. Head of the department will be appointed as a uh, head of the department will be appointed as a accounting officer. He is responsible to chief accounting officer, that is secretary to the ministry. And again, the secretary to the ministry will be responsible to the treasury, and treasury will responsible to the Minister of Finance, and Ministry of Finance will be responsible to the parliament. Right? This is how the delegation of delegation of function of financial control is held. Again, head of the department also sometimes, most of the times, they are not very much knowledge about recording a financial transaction or management of financial transaction. Again, head of the department as accounting officer can delegate the power to the accountants, government accountants or other officers. When they delegate their power delegate their function, financial control function to the officers, other officers by the head of the department. In accounting officer, they have to satisfy with two things: competence, competence, and the internal checks. So for example, if I am uh, head of the institution, I don't know, I don't know very much knowledge on accounting. So to whom I can hand over that power? A person who is capable to handle the financial transactions. It is most suitable person is accountant. Head of the department will will delegate his power to the accountant. Management of public fund, management of finance. An accounting officer may delegate his function if he is satisfied on competence. Accountant mean he is very competent on recording of financial transaction and management of financial transactions. You can't give that responsibility, accounting responsibility to a medical doctor, or you can give it to a lawyer, or you can delegate to engineer. They may know about accounting, but they are not competent enough. So the most competent person is accountant. That's why to recruit for the accountant service of Sri Lanka, they give what through the competition exam, through the competition exam. To become an eligible person to that competitive exam, they should have a degree related to accounting or management or economics. So engineering graduates, medical graduates, and arts graduates are unable to apply to that competitive exam, right? So the accounting officer should satisfy with competence of those to whom the authority is delegated, to whom the authority is delegated, and right, he has appointed a person, he is an accountant, and then the accounting officer should implement a system that can be effectively monitor the behavior, the acts of the accountant. That's called internal control. Here we use adequacy of internal checks. The adequacy of internal checks in the system of delegations. Right. First, he should identify a competent person, competent officer, and he can appoint them. He can appoint him as a officer, and then to monitor that person, that accountant, he should implement internal check system to control his acts. The accounting officer will be responsible for his scheme of delegation and for supervising the system of financial control generally, right? So accounting officer is responsible for all the financial administration of his department. To assist him, he can appoint a person. Even though he appoint a person, a competent person, the head of the department, that's mean accounting officer will be responsible for that. He is responsible for his delegation, and also he is responsible for supervising the system of financial control. Right? His scheme of delegation will naturally be determined by the organization of the department. It is decided by the organizational structure, except where geographical and technical factors necessitate a special arrangement. Right? So you have to understand that this delegation normally done according to it is determined according to the hierarchy, organizational structure of the department. Whenever possible, whenever possible, the duties should be so divided. The duties should be divided that each transaction passes through two or three different offices. you may observe when you get payment from a government department, government office through check, through bank check, then you can find uh, two officers who sign there. At least two officers should sign in the check. It restricts the fraudulent behavior in the government organization, government department. Right? To get any claims, to get any payment from the uh, or any organization, any government organization, the voucher passes through several officers. Several officers. One person will prepare the vouchers. Another officers will check the officers. Another officer will check the correctness, and they have to check all the procedures are followed. Everything they have to check. So it's simply whenever the possible, the duty should be so divided. The work should be divided. Each transaction passes through two or three different officers. An officer to whom function have been delegated. So for example, the head of the department, accounting officer, has delegated his function to an accountant, right? Take divisional secretariat, DS office, where head of the department will be the divisional secretariat, DS. He has delegated his function, financial function, to the accountant, DS office accountant. An officer who will An officer to whom a function have been delegated will have the full discretion, right? He have full discretion to perform the duties delegated to him and will be held accountable for his act, right? So in the DS office, the accountant, DS office accountant should responsible to all financial transactions. To perform his duties well, he should give full discretion, right? He should perform as maximum as possible. He should dedicate to effectively management of the fund in the DS office, right? In case of DS office, DS has delegated the power to the accountant at the DS office. In universities, the vice chancellor is the head of the department. Vice chancellor is head of the department. He has delegated the financial function to the bursar, right? Bursar or registrar. Actually speaking, the secretary is for the university system. Uh, Secretary to the Ministry of Education is the chief accounting officer. So every university is other department under the Ministry of Education, and head of the department for universities vice chancellor. So vice chancellor is an accounting officer, and he is not a fluent. He's in financial transaction of the universities. Therefore, he has delegated the function to the registrar. And registrar again delegate the power to the bursar. In university system, the position called accountant is called as bursar. It will also be his duty to keep the accounting officer acquainted of any transactions which involve novel principle or are sufficient importance to merit accounting officer's personal attention, right? So accounting accounting of the accountant is a competent person, no? Competent person. When he performs his duty, he should use his personal knowledge, his professional knowledge, professional attention to, right, personal attention to in any transactions, right? He should give a special attention in all financial transactions held under his department, on his department. It will be His duty to keep accounting officer account of any transaction which involve novel principle or any sufficient information importance to merit the accounting officer's personal attention. On the other hand, the act of delegation will not relieve an accounting officer of his ultimate responsibility. Right? In the university system, the vice chancellor has delegated his function to the bursar. But anyhow, if there are any financial fraudulent activities held in the universities, again the vice chancellor is responsible for that because he is the accounting officer. Even though he has delegated his power to other officers, finally the accountable person, the responsible person is the head of the department, that is accounting officer. If officer exceeds or misuse his delegated power, you know that in government organizations there are some officers who are violate or misuse their authority. Likewise, the accountants, financial officers also may misuse their power. If an accounting officer exceeds or misuse his delegated powers or fails to carry out his duties, he will be accountable for such act and defaults. In finance department, if any people misuse their power or negligence of duty, they don't care about others transaction. Others transaction mean they don't care about his duty. Then in this kind of acts, the officers mean the delegated officers are responsible person. Accountant, so for example, accountant, bursar is the responsible person for that misconduct, misuses of power. In such case, however, the accounting officer will not be responsible, right, in negligence of duties and misuse of power. The chief accounting officer, the accounting officer, head of the department, are not responsible unless unless the excess or misuse or default are attributed to cause within his control. Right. Right. Stages of delegation. Stages of delegation. How delegate their function, financial function, control of financial function. Here, the following stages or functions may be distinguished in any scheme of delegation in public sector in Sri Lanka. You know that the fund transaction will be held in two forms. One is income, another one is expenditure. Income and expenditure. Other than these two, there is no movement of fund, isn't it? The fund transaction, the fund will move only two instances. One is expenditure, another one is income. Right. We see under the expenditure, in case of expenditure, it's money outflow, right? Money outflow, fund outflow. For this, in case of money outflow, there are four steps, there are four officers responsible responsible for this transaction, the expenditure. In case of expenditure, there are four officers will get delegated. Number one, authorization. For any expenditure, the initial step is get authorization. Will get authorization. Once they get authorization for any expenditures, then the work will be started or any purchasing process will be started. And after finishing their works or after purchase of any items of supply, then they will fill a voucher to get the money from the department organization. That time they will get approval after getting the service by the government organization or after getting the items by the government organization, then only they will give approval. After giving approval, the voucher will goes to the certification officer. Once they're getting approval, the voucher will or the document will move to the certification officer. He will certify the things. He will certify the work has done. He will certify that proper approval has been taken. He will certify that proper authorization has been taken. Right, everything he will certify, and also he certify uh, we have enough fund to make payment. Everything he will certify, and also he should certify uh, the person who are recurring who are requesting the money is a suitable person, correct person. Right. After certification, it will goes to the payment officer. Payment officer most of the time who in the share of you can get the money from the share of payment. So there are four steps. First, for the expenditure, they have to get authorization. After authorization, go for approval. After approval, it will go for the certification. After certification, it will go for payment. And in case of income, in case of income, first assessment. Assessment. Say when we take example, uh, Department of Inland Revenue. Department of Inland Revenue. They are responsible to collect. They are responsible to collect income, tax revenue. The Department of Inland Revenue is responsible to collect tax revenue, right? Before collecting the tax revenue, they have to make an assessment. Assessments mean in our terms budget, right? How much we are going to collect, from which person we are going to collect, when we are going to collect. So all the things they have to prepare. This is called assessment. So the person responsible for the assessment is called assessing officer. Assessing officer. And what else? The department which are earning income. Department of Motor Traffic. Department of Motor Traffic. So if you have a vehicle, you have to get annual revenue license, isn't it? You have to get annual revenue license. So this is one of the income to the government. So this amount, say for example, if you have a motor bicycle, you have to pay 700 rupees a year. You have to pay 700 years in a year. So this amount decided by whom? There is an officer in the Department of Motor Traffic, Department of Motor Traffic. That person, the assessing officer, will inform to the general public for motor bicycle 700. To whom we have to collect that money? The owner of the motorbike or the person who is having the motorbike. And who is collecting? Are you paying the money to assessing officer or in the Department of Motor Traffic? No, we pay that money normally in the DS office, no? DS office. The person who is collecting the money from the general public, he is called as collecting officer. Collecting officer. And once they collect the money from general public or suitable person as indicated by assessment officer, he will deposit this money to the officer. That is called acceptance officer. Say for example, an officer in the Department of Motor Traffic called acceptance officer. In every DS office, there will be a collection officer. All the money will be deposited to the sent to the acceptance officer in the Department of Motor Traffic. So this is how uh, the financial functions has delegated in terms of expenditure, in terms of income. And next sections, that's government expenditure, is how the money should spend, how the government money should spend is explained by Financial Regulation number 136, 137, 38 and 39. 136 talk about authorization. 137 is talk about approval. 138 is talk about certification of payment. And finally, 139 will talk about 139 is talk about payment, right? And